now. Somebody want to?
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Hump Day Hangouts. We are coming up on the Thanksgiving is tomorrow if you're in the US, also known as Thanksgiving, not the Thanksgiving. But I'm just going to roll with the weird intro. Anyways, I'm in a car headed up to meet up with family for Thanksgiving. I hope you are up to something equally good later on this week or today if that's you in the US. For those of you not in the US, all fall on this sword and eat some good food for you. But while Bradley's setting up the technical stuff, gonna say hello to Chris and let Chris tell us what he's up to. So Chris, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. First of all, glad to be here today. Pretty good day here. Was surprisingly sunny here. And one more thing, we forgot the episode number. We are at episode 367 today. So quite happy about that as well. Like, it's unbelievable how long we have been doing these things. And yeah, I'm still in Austria at the moment. Things are good. Quite a bit turbulent, but yeah, we'll see what happens next year.
Nice. Well, cool. Yeah, I'm on my phone and didn't have time to look and see what episode, so I appreciate you letting people know. So I'm going to let Bradley talk about something special he's got going on. I wanted to let everyone know about what we're doing again for the Black Friday. There's no Black Friday, super special offer you've got to take advantage of in the next 48 hours. We're just dropping some free training Bradley put together as a kind of a multi-part tool. Again, I'm going to let him get into that training. Yours truly also put out some cool stuff about combining some of the AI tools we've talked about with some of the marketing content we need as agency owners, consultants, stuff like that. So that stuff is going to be released for free. So if you are on the Semantic Mastery email list, if you are in the free Facebook group, which Chris, you can drop the link to that so people can join if they want to, you're going to get notified about that automatically. So that'll happen starting on Friday. And then later on in the weekend, I believe Sunday or Monday, we're going to be dropping the second piece of training. So Bradley, you want to tell them a little bit more about what you've got going on there? And yeah, take it away.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Happy Thanksgiving to all those that are celebrating it anyways. Yeah, for Black Friday to Cyber Monday, we're kind of going against the grain. Yeah, everybody else wants to sell shit. We get it, totally understand. But we wanted to do something different, and that's just give away some free training. I put together a full standard operating procedure, so essentially process training for what I call the content mirroring method. It's a very, very powerful strategy to get the most best effect, right? The most SEO value from long form content or from a silo. So any well-developed content that you have out there on a money site, you can repurpose and reformat it across multiple different, platforms, so to speak. So GMB posts, YouTube videos, G-site silos, and ultimately press releases too, if you so choose. And I've developed the whole process for that with all the training and everything, and show you guys exactly how I'm doing the content mirroring method. And we're going to give that away. Like, it's full on training. It's an entire course in itself. It took me 3 days to put it all together. I've tested with it for several weeks now. I've done it 5 or 6 times myself manually, and I wanted to build the process training so that I could outsource it to my team of any one of my team members, so that I don't have to do it anymore. And I figured it was a really good opportunity to create something that we could give away between Black Friday and Cyber Monday. It will only be available for 3 days. If you're a mastermind member, you can get it anytime. It's part of the mastermind. But if you're not a mastermind member, you can only get it between Friday and Monday. So make sure that you are on the list and you get access to it while you can. Otherwise, you have to come join the mastermind to get it. So
good reminder, Bradley. Sorry about that. A little bit of a delay here, but yeah, I forgot to mention that. Definitely with all the training, it is free. You can grab it. Please take advantage of it. It's really good stuff from both of us, but you do need to take advantage of that. It will be taken down after Monday. So make some time to grab that, check it out, and put it to use.
That's right. Yeah, and it's like I said, it's pretty powerful, guys. It's a great way to get the most, if you invest in content or you take the time to develop content you're on your own, there's a lot of value in investing in content, right? I think that's 70% of the ranking game right now, is having good, well-tuned content for sure. And so this is just a way to get the most out of it. without needing additional content for the structure. And so in just a moment, when I grab the screen, I'll just do a quick view of the diagram showing the content mirroring structure. But I've got full on training on how to build the entire structure. And it takes about 4 or 5 hours to do it manually. The first time, after you get the hang of it, it can be done in about four hours, maybe. It's why I said I don't recommend it. You guys do it other than just to learn how to do it on your own, the first time. And then you can literally hand the process training over to a virtual assistant and they'll be able to do it for you, which is precisely why I built the process training, so that I don't have to do it anymore. I proved it works. And so now I don't want to have to manually build them myself. So I'll be sharing that with you guys as well. So with that, do we have any other announcements right now?
No, I'm just about to post links. That's it.
Okay, cool. Well, then I guess I'll grab the screen. We don't have a lot of questions. I'm assuming it's because it's right before Thanksgiving and probably everybody's traveling. So we'll get through. It looks like Adam's trying to get in again. We'll get through what questions we have, guys. Right now, it's pretty much wide open. So if you have any questions you want answered, post them on the Hump Day Hangout page. We'll get to them in just a moment. But if we have to wrap up early, I'm perfectly fine with that, as I'm sure most of you are as well. So is there anything that we missed? I guess Adam's having trouble getting in. Yeah, so, okay. All right, good enough. I'm going to grab the screen. All right, so real quick, guys, this is the diagram of the content mirroring structure that I show how to build. It's like I said, you don't need any additional content. If you already have long form landing page content or a silo already built on your site, with the top of silo page and then supporting articles, it's just a way of repurposing existing content to build this structure so that you can push massive power into your existing content without ever having to touch your money site with any external links other than stuff that you already have, tier 1 entity assets. So it's a way to just really power up a particular silo or a location, a long form landing page, which is how I build most of mine now anyway. But it's a very, very powerful strategy. And I mean, I've seen some incredible movement with brand new projects. With existing projects, it gives a nice little bump. But for like brand new projects, I mean, I've seen a jump 35, 40 spots in the SERPs after applying this method in a matter of days. And I even talk about that in the training. So I would encourage you guys to check it out. Like I said, between Black Friday and Cyber Monday, you'll get access to it for free. But it's a very limited window that it will be open. So check it out. With that said, let's get into the questions. Okay. I believe the first question from today. Well, we'll start here past Adam's question. But I think we actually answered this last week, but we'll go ahead and start with this one. It says, Greg says, hey, Bradley, if I understood you correctly, you only did GMB local pack for your clients. How did you manage your clients when the GMBs tank? Okay, so I think he's referencing something that I was talking about last week. So this is probably from last week. And no, I didn't have any client GMBs tank. It was only my own lead gen assets. And I believe that was because they were tied to like virtual mailboxes and things like that. They weren't valid business locations. Fortunately, they didn't get suspended, but I had like over 30 GMBs drop in ranking, like about 10 to anywhere between 10 to 15 spots. So if they were in the 3-pack, my average after that particular whatever algorithm update it was in the middle of June, I didn't lose them, but they dropped from, the majority of the 30 plus GMBs that I had were in the 3-pack, and they dropped to about an average of 15. It ranged between position 10 and 15, or excuse me, 10 and 20. So the average is about 15. And I've been able to recover about 80% of them now. Some of them I just haven't really put a lot of effort into because they didn't produce a lot of leads to begin with. So it wasn't really worth putting a whole lot of effort into recovering those. But the ones, the high trafficked areas, the ones that generated a lot of leads, I had to, I recovered most of those. So how did I didn't have to communicate it to clients, thank God. And again, I believe that the algorithm update had something to do with, the physical address that the GMB was tied to. And so it only occurred on lead gen assets that weren't tied to a real valid business location. So that's what I think was the algorithm update had something to do with that. So fortunately, I didn't have any clients because they all have valid business locations. So I didn't have any of them get hit, fortunately. Do you still find unclaimed GMBs in 2021? Yeah, I think you can. I don't go searching for them because I don't try to claim unclaimed GMBs anymore. I just don't do that. It's not, I don't bother with it, but I have seen unclaimed GMBs. So yeah, I'm sure they're still there. Risa says, so do you also send press releases to your Web 2.0s? You can. What I recommend is, like, again, I don't like to use press releases direct to my money site anymore, other than if it's a new project, whether it's a new location that was just set up, or if it was for, like, an existing, like, a company that a new client, for example, that has had an existing website. What I like to do with press releases initially is just do one press release with a link to, the website for the project with branded anchor or a naked URL, right? So a URL anchor. That's it. One or the other, or both, which builds up, like, because you're going to get a bunch of links from press release distribution pointed back to whatever your target URL is. So I like to do that to the homepage or the location landing page for the GMB, whatever the self-hosted site is for that project. I like to do one press release that has either a naked URL or a brand anchor. Sometimes I will do two press releases, one that does naked URL and one with a brand anchor. And that's just to build up, like, to seed the site with brand/URL anchors, which the way that I categorize anchor text is to one of 5 categories. The first one being brand/URL anchors. I consider those one and the same. The next one would be topic anchors. So that would be a keyword anchor only. A target anchor is a keyword plus, or is like a topic plus a location modifier, right? So I have brand/URL, category 1. Topic anchors, which are keywords only. Target is category number 2. Target anchors are keyword plus location modifier. So that's category number 3. Category number 4 is miscellaneous anchors, which are also generics, right? That's another term for it. And then category number 5 is a frame anchor or an empty anchor, which would be like an iframe, a redirect URL, or an empty a image link. So like a link from an image, but without alt text. Because if you have alt text, the alt text becomes the anchor text, if that makes sense. So when I do a press release to a money site, I only like to do a brand/URL anchor, right? And that's it. And that's just to get the anchor text ratios real high in that category. And then from there, it's typically, iframe anchors or frame anchors, empty anchors. They're going to be built through the structures that we build anyways, which would be like the G site, the ID page, press advantage organization page. Those all produce iframes. So those became frame anchors. That's going to naturally occur through the structures that we build, right? And then miscellaneous anchors, you're going to pick those up naturally. Web 2.0 links, citations, things like that. Typically, you're going to have a lot of click here, website, GMB posts, the learn more button, or the CTA button, which typically you're going to, when you're building links with GMB posts, you're going to be linking back to your site with either the learn more or the book button, right? So those are, again, miscellaneous or generic anchor texts. So, that's what I'm trying to get at, guys, is like what I like to do with money sites is build up brand and URL anchors initially with press releases. Like I said, it usually only takes 1, maybe 2 at most. And then the frame anchors and miscellaneous anchors, they're going to just occur naturally as we're building the rest of the structures, the rest of the tier 1 entity assets. So then what that leaves me with is topic and target anchors that I have to go out and, intentionally build. And what I try to do is build my target anchors through the tier 1 entity assets. And remember, target anchors are topic, keyword plus location modifier. So like on the ID page, the RYS G sheets, right? The Web 2.0 properties from the syndication network, all of those different types of properties that we're going to build, tier 1 entity assets, we have the opportunity to go in and build links with target anchors back to the money site. So we can get our anchor text ratios similar to whatever the top ranked competitors are for that same search query that we're optimizing for. And then topic anchors, what I found, at least in the industry that I'm in, which is tree service industry, I found that topic anchors are very few. Like you don't see those very often. If you analyze the backlink profile of the top ranked competitors, comparing apples to apples, and what I mean by that is if you're comparing local business websites to that's what you're analyzing, backlink profile of local business websites. Don't look at backlink profile of directory sites. First of all, they have very few backlinks usually because they rank on pure internal links, right? The authority of the domain plus internal linking. But second of all, it's a different structure, different type of, when you compare a local business backlink profile to website backlink profile, to a directory backlink profile, it's apples and oranges. So it's not the same. It's not the same, right? So I only compare the backlink analysis or analyze the backlinks of local business websites because that's what I'm competing with, if that makes sense. And so what I found is in the industry that I work in, and I've looked across dozens and dozens of locations, dozens and dozens of keywords. And every time I analyze those sites, I find that the topic anchors are very few and far between. So again, that would be like tree service, tree removal, tree trimming service, things like that, just without location modifiers. Very rarely see those, occasionally, but very rarely. Most of the time you see a high percentage of brand/URL and miscellaneous anchors. And then you'll see some frame anchors, which again are empty iframes, empty, image links with no alt text and also redirects. And then you'll see target anchors and very few, if any, topic anchors. So now that I know that, and I've been able to prove over months of just research and analyzing projects, competitors and everything else, that's pretty much what I normally see. I usually see between 60 to 80% brand/URL top anchors. And then I usually see about 10 to 15% miscellaneous anchors, a very small amount of frame or empty anchors, and then just a very small amount of target anchors and very few, if any, topic anchors. So the reason I bring all that up is because I think press releases are great to link directly to the money site to just to boost your brand/URL anchors, to get your ratio higher for that, right? For that anchor text category. Then once you get to that point, which only takes one, maybe two press releases to really increase that brand/URL anchor text category, right? So, but then from there, like I like to use press releases to link build to either the GMB website, GMB posts, or now I should say GBP, right? Google, or GB posts, right? Google Business Posts, since they just changed the name of Google My Business to Google Business Profile. So again, the Google Business website, Google Business Posts, or the G site. Those are my three preferred targets for press releases. After the initial one or two that I use to increase anchor text ratios for brand/URL anchor category for the money site. Does that make sense? So Web 2s, yeah, you can build links. The only thing I don't like to do is I don't like to build from press releases to like all the different tier 1 entity assets. I like to pick one and then just keep hitting that one over and over again. So like I said, the Google Business website or the G site. Those are two of my favorite targets for press releases now. So hopefully that makes sense. But you can do that. I don't, unless you know what you're doing, I try not to build a lot of press releases directly to the money site anymore. I did for a long time, but I don't do that so much anymore. I just use it, like I said, to power up some of my other tier 1 entity assets. For me, primarily the Google Business website or Google Business Posts in the G site. Okay. Herman says, hey guys, I built a website for a local cleaning business and they are offering to get into lead gen with my agency. This is the first time I'm looking at lead gen and not sure how to deal with this. The city is medium sized and the target would be businesses. However, I am not sure if the business has good call handling. How would you recommend structuring a lead gen arrangement for something like this? Would you charge a fixed fee to drive calls to them or recurring commission on any new closed contracts? Thanks. Well, there's a number of ways, Herman, to monetize for lead gen. You could do a pay per lead. That's right. That's one way to do it. So that's just a flat fee for however, per lead that you generate, whether it's a phone call or a form fill, right? So like a estimate request form fill or something like that, right? So you can do it that way. There's another way you can do it, which would be a flat lease fee, which would be like, you charge them $500 a month or $1,000 a month to lease the site or the asset, and right, because when I do a lead gen asset, it's usually a Google Business Profile, which includes a Google Map, and oftentimes there will be a self-hosted website associated with the project. So they're renting that. Again, I consider a self-hosted website, the Google Business Profile website, and the map, the Google Map, all is kind of like the asset, right? lead generation asset. I know they're different profiles, but they're all kind of one and the same because they all work in tandem. So I would, you could lease that out for a flat monthly fee, and it doesn't matter how many calls that it produces. You're just going to rent it out on a flat monthly fee. That's the easiest way to manage it, guys. Because you don't need to worry about tracking the number of calls. You don't need to worry about the lead buyer complaining about, well, you charged me for 15 leads this month and 3 of them were spam calls, so I want a refund on those 3. Those are things that happen when you're selling on a pay per lead basis. But it's just different ways to monetize. So there's pay per lead, there's lease or rank and rent is another way to another term for that. And then there's also revenue share, which is what I've done with a lot of tree service contractors, which is where I only get paid, or they only pay for leads that they closed, they sold a job to, and then I get a percentage of whatever the sale price was, or the contract price. And that's called revenue share, but that requires even more management than like pay per lead, because you have to have some sort of level of trust in some way to verify whether they're actually closing jobs or not, or making sales, right? Think about that. And that's, and I've been burned in the past by tree guys many times over the years where I tried the revenue share model and they would close jobs and lie to me and say they weren't closing jobs. And then there's ways that you can verify that, which is what I had to do, was develop ways to verify that. And I found out that, again, I would only offer revenue share model for clients under the pay per lead model that have proven, or rank and rent model, that have proven to be good lead buyers. Like, in other words, if they pay me on time, and they've built up some sort of a good, we've developed a good working relationship, then I may offer a revenue share model to them, because I think it's in their best interest. I know it's in their best interest, but I also know that I can make more money that way if I'm getting a percentage of each job that's closed. And it gives me, it's incentive for both of us to do better, right? Because it incentivizes me to produce better leads for them and more leads, because I'm going to get, and also to help them get better at closing those leads, basically closing sales, right? So it's kind of more of a partnership than just a normal normal arrangement. So, but that I think requires the most management and verification and the most trust and everything else. So again, to start off with, I think the best and easiest way to get started is kind of the rank and rent model, which is just to, once you have an asset that's producing leads, just rent it out on a monthly fee and then once you get a little bit further into the business, you get more experience, more confidence and everything else, then you can, I think my recommendation is to shift to either pay per lead or revenue share model, if that makes sense. Okay. Kenneth says, what's the difference between your SEO content and the Entity Tune content of the Heavy Hitter Club store is offering? I don't know, because I don't know what they're doing. I know what the content services that we're offering in Semantic Mastery, and only mastermind members have access to that right now. It's not available to the general public yet. It's currently in alpha testing. Once we're done alpha testing, it'll go to beta testing, which will still only be available to mastermind members. And then after that, it'll go to the more general public, our audience to begin with, obviously. But I can't tell you what those guys are doing. I don't know. They're no longer partners of ours, so I don't know what they're doing. I just know that the content service that we're selling is based upon my own personal method that I developed over months and months of testing. And then I've trained my blogger to do it. And now she has taken over that side of things. And she's got 2 bloggers that she's training how to do the method that I developed for entity tuned or SEO tuned content. And so again, I cannot speak for what those guys are doing. All I can do is explain what we're doing. And no, I can't provide you with any coupons for anything, guys. We're not associated with them like as partners or anything else. So you just have to contact them for coupons. Okay. I can't help you with that. Sorry about that. Okay. Chris says, it's you, Chris. Thank you. Risa says, any good Black Friday deals you can recommend? I'm trying to stay away from Black Friday deals right now. Honestly, that's part of the reason we're doing what we're doing, because I don't know. AppSumo's got a couple good deals. I just picked up a CRM deal called Flowloo. I'm trying to get better organization for my own agency and my own lead gen stuff, because I got so many freaking projects now between clients and lead gen assets. I'm well over 40 locations right now that I'm trying to manage. And I've always managed my business with Google Drive and Sheets. And, it's becoming a bit of a nightmare. It really is. And so it's to the point where I really can't continue adding more locations, whether client or lead gen stuff, until I get a better management system in place. So I just looked at, I just picked this up today and I started going through it, and it's nice. I like it a lot so far. I know it's kind of premature, but because I don't have a lot of experience with it yet, but I started setting it up today. This right here called Flowloo. It's only available for another 6 days, but it's pretty fucking sharp, man. I like it. I use High Level I think High Level has a good Black Friday deal right now, by the way, but I think it's only on an annual plan. So you got to fork out some serious money to do it. It's definitely worth it. It's if you're doing stuff like a lot of marketing stuff. High Level is great as like for marketing, as a marketing CRM, but this is like a project management app with a CRM built in and everything else. So anyway, I just think this is pretty cool, and it's a fairly good price too. So any other good Black Friday deals you can recommend now? Because like I said, I haven't really been looking at anything, guys. I've been trying to stay away from that as much as possible. I got too many already things to do to be buying other courses or or tools right now, honestly. So Greg says, hey guys, quick question. What is your recommended strategy to rank ClickFunnels pages locally? Do you create your own RSS feed, press releases, RYS stacks, citations? Yeah, I mean, guys, you can rank a ClickFunnels page. It's harder to do because you can't. It's harder to do because you can't optimize the SEO elements of a ClickFunnels page like you can WordPress or something like a full CMS, right? Where you can go in and set H tags and all that other stuff. Unless ClickFunnels change something, which I don't do a lot in ClickFunnels anymore, but I know before you couldn't really set like H tags, H2, H3, all that. You could set headings and subheadings, but I don't know that you can control like the SEO elements of it as much. And there's a lot of additional code in ClickFunnels pages and stuff, but they can rank. It's the same as like a GMB website or a Google business website, right? Google business profile website, whatever, right? In that a Google business website, you can't manipulate the SEO elements. You can add bold tag, like you can bold text, you can underline, italicize, but you can't add H tags, right? You can't add images in the content. There's a ton of stuff you can't do with a Google business website, but you can still rank them. You need really well-tuned content, right? That's number one. And then you need off page. You need to do like link building and things like that to get them to rank. So a ClickFunnels page is very similar in that respect, in that, first of all, have really well-tuned content. That's going to be number one. So well-optimized content. But since you can't optimize the elements of the page, the SEO elements of the page, that's why I think it's even more critical to have well-tuned, optimized content, right? And then it's just a matter of all the stuff that we've been teaching. It's the exact same. None of that changes. Syndication network, a drive stack, G site, what we call theme mirroring, right? So press advantage organization page, because that's always just standard operating procedure for everything we do. An ID page, all of that stuff is still absolutely critical. And then it's link building after that, right? It's link building, citations, press releases, all of those are all included. So that's pretty much it. Vance says, hey, gents, can you recommend an extension that will scrape the top 10 Google search results for a keyword? Thank you. Yeah. smshort.link/page rewriter. I don't know, Chris, if you're still available, but if you have that link,
we'll try it.
It's an SM short link, but page rewriter is great for that. That's exactly what that's built to do, is to scrape the top 10 results for any keyword. And it separates everything by H tags, by SEO title, meta description, H tags, paragraphs, like all of that stuff. So basically it scrapes for the top 10 organic results for any keyword. And you can even set localized search, like, so you can set United States or set it down to a city or whatever. So it'll localize the search results as well if you want. And it pulls in the top 10, and it may even be more than top 10 now, but pulls in the top ranked organic content, and it separates it all by type, right? Again, heading tags, H1s, H2s, all that, paragraphs and everything else. And then you can literally just click each individual paragraph or heading tag or whatever, and it adds it into the editor. And then it's got an AI rewriter in it. So an AI rephrasing tool, essentially. It's not a spinner. There is spinning functionality built into it too, but I don't recommend that. They have an AI rewriter built into it. So once you've developed a piece of content from already ranking content, I call it OPC, right? Other people's content. Once you develop a article from other people's content that's already ranking, so you know Google likes that content, then you obviously go in and edit it to swap out location modifiers, brand names, anything else to make it relevant to your project, and then you add it to the copy it and paste it into the AI rewriter, and then hit rephrase, and it rewrites the whole thing using GPT-3, I believe. But it's really, really great. And it's just it's a great tool for developing content very, very quickly using other people's content that's already ranking. So you know that Google likes the content, or else it wouldn't be top ranked content, right? And so I like to Frankenstein articles, like mix and match headings and paragraphs that, make sense in one piece of content. Then, like I said, in the editor, once all you got to do is just click on it, and it automatically inserts it into the editor. So once I built the structure from other people's content that I want, then I go in and just very quickly edit it to swap out location modifiers with the appropriate locations, brand names, anything like that. And then I just copy it and paste it into the AI rewriter. It's in the same dashboard, and hit rephrase or rewrite. And it just takes about 10, 15, 20 seconds to rewrite the whole thing. And now I've got a well-tuned article that was ranked off, that was already ranking content for the specific search query that I entered. And it's a very quick way to, I especially like doing that for like link building articles for like tier 1 content. So that's like pasting content or publishing content on like syndication network properties. I'm not talking about syndicated blog posts. I'm talking about going into WordPress, Blogger, Tumblr, etc., and pasting in content that I was able to generate with Page Rewriter very, very quickly, that I can use for link building articles to my money site, right? That's where I was talking about using my tier 1 branded assets to build the target anchors. So links using target anchors, so topic or keyword plus location modifier on my branded tier 1 money or assets that link back to my money site, right? And I like to use Page Rewriter to develop that content. For money site content, I like to use original content, and that's why I train my blogger how to use various tools to develop content. But for like tier 1 branded entity tuned content on tier 1 branded assets, I like to just use Page Rewriter because it just does it so quickly. There is one other deal though. I don't know if they got a deal, but Article Forge 3.0, that I think was just launched in the last week or maybe 2 weeks or something like that. That's also good if you don't, I started I got it right here in my browser. But anyways, I started testing with that, and that's very good too for generating content. Now I wouldn't use it for money site content unless you like generate an article with Article Forge 3.0, and then after you've generated it, then go back and use something like Surfer SEO or outranking.io or something like that to tune the content, optimize it. But for tier 1 branded assets, for link building content, I thought Article Forge I just purchased it for a year, the annual deal, specifically because I think it's Page Rewriter is great, but it does take a few minutes for you to go in and, it scrapes the content, and then you got to kind of sift through all of the content that it pulls in and determine which paragraphs make sense and all that kind of stuff. And it's great. Don't get me wrong. It's fantastic, but it does take a little bit more time. Article Forge, you just put in a keyword, some supporting keywords, and you hit go. And about, 3, 4, or 5 minutes later, it spits out quite good articles. They still need to be modified or edited slightly. But I found that like for tier 1 content, that's why I picked up the annual deal for Article Forge specifically, was just to help develop some tier 1 content a little bit faster, if that makes sense. But both of those tools are probably my recommendation, my go-to recommendations for developing content. But for money site content, I recommend either developing it in-house or finding a service like what we'll be offering soon called our SEO tuned content service, because those I found, original articles that have been manually built or developed tend to work better in my opinion. So anyway, good question, Vance. He says, on your lead gen sites, do you rank strictly SEO or do you include some PPC? Thank you. Well, yeah, I mean, I do PPC, but usually that's for remarketing. Like I don't do search pay-per-click. I do like remarketing, like Google display networks, network ads. And also for clients, I usually set up YouTube ad campaigns for branding purposes as well. For lead gen, not usually. Usually for lead gen, I just set up Google display network ads for remarketing or for cold traffic to help with click-through rate manipulation, right? If you don't have, like, you can manipulate click-through rate using Google display ads, which I've been doing that for years now. Or you can use like a CT bot, like a click-through spam bot, click-through rate manipulation tool like Viper Tools, which, Chris, if you're available, drop that one too. Viper Tools is in SM short link as well. But that I use both. I use CT spam bots for click-through rate manipulation, but I've been using Google ads for like 3 years now, for Google display ads, display network ads, to send clicks into the Google business website, the GMB map, and the money site. And then also remarketing. I always like to set up, once I have a remarketing list with at least 100 people, in order to serve display network ads to a remarketing list, it has to have 100 people on it or more. So once that reaches 100, when you have remarketing tags set up on the money site, and once you get to beyond that point, then I usually set up remarketing ads, and that helps too. Does Semantic Mastery offer any embed gigs? No, Vance. We do not. I've been testing with a lot of providers on Legit recently, though. There's some good ones on there that have some embed gigs. I'm not going to point anybody out just yet because I'm still testing, but there are some good gigs there as well.
Well, Bradley mentioned a couple of them in the mastermind, so you might want to check that out.
I did. And there's a couple of providers that I mentioned in the content mirroring process or method that we're giving away between Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And I've even linked to them in the process training. And one of them is in embed gigs. It's for embed gigs. But yeah, I'm not going to give that away here. Risa says there is also an Elementor add-on plug-on on AppSumo that is great, and I picked it up. Exclusive add-ons. Elementor add-on. No shit. I'd like to see those. I'll have to check that out. Thank you, Risa. I've been using Elementor a lot lately. And I've got Elementor Pro too, but yeah, I'll have to check that out. So appreciate that.
I looked at it as well. It's like ultimate add-ons, but I haven't gone into the details, like what's the difference between the two.
Okay. I'll have to check it out. Vance says, oh yeah, I already use Page Rewriter on your recommendation and love it. Thank you. You're welcome, Vance. And that's great. Yeah, it's a great tool. It really is. Like I said, the only other tool that I would recommend, and again, I don't recommend this for money site content. You can use Page Rewriter for money site content. You really can. I still recommend, after you create an article with Page Rewriter and then rephrase it, that you would, to get the best effect out of it, you should still tune it with something like Surfer, Page Optimizer Pro, Outranking, something like that. Any one of those will do, guys. Another good tool is, and that's there's a Black Friday for that one as well. So it's onpage.ai. This is another good tool. This is Eric Lanchera's tool. And this has got some pretty cool things, but he's got some pretty good deals going on right now too. So I would, consider, if you don't already have like Surfer SEO or on Page Optimizer Pro or Outranking or something like that, this is also a great tool for tuning content for, because it will go out and find the named entities within the content. It will show you how often they're being used, similar to what Surfer SEO does, but it's slightly different. And this has got some other pretty cool functionality to it as well. Like it will categorize the main topical relevance of your inbound links. So like if you go, you can go to like Majestic or even search, well, not so much Search Console, but Majestic or Ahrefs or Ahrefs or whatever you want to call it, any sort of link building, link analysis tool, and extract your backlinks and then paste them into onpage.ai, and it'll tell you what the topical relevance or the main topic of the articles that have the links pointing back to your site are. So you can go in and see like, okay, well, these links aren't fully relevant, right? And if you have access to them, like with syndication network properties or tier one branded assets and things like that, where you can go back in and maybe modify the content to make it more topically relevant. if that makes sense. So there's some pretty cool fun features in here as well. I've tested with this for a few months. You can see. So this is just another one. I'm not saying this is any better than any of the others. I just thought that this was a pretty cool tool as well. And I know that he has a Black Friday deal going on. So that's another good one. Yeah, so page rewriter. But yeah, as I was saying, and that's back to what I was saying, Vance, is page rewriter is good for, you can develop money site content with it, but I would still recommend after developing a piece of content for your money site that you would still go and optimize it with another tool. Just do, some final optimization with it. Something that pulls in Google entities, right? That's really what's important about that. And page rewriter doesn't do that yet, but usually if it's already ranking content, it means it was optimized well anyways, which is why I like that. But like I said, for tier 1, like content for link building and stuff, Article Forge 3.0 seems to be pretty good too. It's a little bit less manual than page rewriter, which is why I like it. But I'd still, like I said, I still try to tune the content even for tier 1 link building content. Tier 2, I don't worry about that, right? But tier 1, I do. I try to treat that as money site content now. And it just tends to work really, really well. So, okay, well, looks like we're going to wrap up about 20 minutes early. I don't see any other questions coming through. So I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, those that are celebrating it. We'll see you guys next week. Actually, don't forget, be on the lookout between Friday and Monday for our Black Friday specials and things like, again, we're not selling anything, guys. It'll be free, but you gotta act while during the window, which is between Friday and Monday. So make sure you're paying attention. All right.